Good morning, everyone. My name is Kavish, and I'm from 6C. Today, we're really pleased to be joined by Dr. Amanda Verriden from NECC, who is here to talk to us about neurodiversity. All of the questions you'll hear have been created by our student council, who have worked together to lead this conversation. We'd like to say a big thank you to Dr. Verriden for joining us today, and we hope you enjoy the discussion.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me. I'm excited to talk to you today about neurodiversity. Um, as you said, I am Dr. Amanda. I come originally from the United States. I moved here to Qatar in January. My experience is in applied behavior analysis. So that is what I got my degree in. And I've had about 20 years experience working primarily with individuals with autism. So ages 2 years old to 22 years old has been my main experience to date. And right now I'm here working at NECC Qatar, which is an ABA clinic and consulting program that provides services to individuals with autism and related disabilities.
My name is Gabby, and a student named Shadat from 7B wants to know where was neurodiversity first discovered and who came up with the term.
That's a good question. I'm glad you guys provided these questions in advance. I did have to look that one up. It was first coined by a sociologist named Judy Singer in the 1990s, and she was looking to create a term that focused more on the diversity of the different attributes of someone with neurodiversity rather than the deficits or pathologizing it.
Thank you. Student from 7D wants to know, what do you find fascinating about working with people with neurodiversity?
I think just finding everyone's unique strengths and skills and talents in working with all the individuals I've worked with. Everyone is very unique and brings different talents, opinions to the table and can offer great ideas when collaborating on different activities.
Nice. The last question I want to talk to you is, did Jumana from 8A and Siddharth from 7C would love to know, how do people with dyslexia learn to read and write?
That's a good question. I don't have any training or experience with dyslexia or other reading disorders, so I'm not the best person to ask, maybe more of an educational psychologist or doctor.
My name is Michaela from 5D, and students from 7D would like to know, how do you think that people with neurodiversity struggle with making friends and being bullied because of it?
I think it can be a struggle, a lifelong struggle, a struggle in school with making friends and being bullied because sometimes they might be seen as different, but different isn't always a bad thing. They just might have some additional talents or ways of learning or seeing the world. Specifically with my experience with autism, I think sometimes children with autism have some challenges with social interactions and conversations. They maybe don't always detect jokes or sarcasm, so that can be challenging in friendships if someone is misunderstanding in a conversation with them.
Okay, and for my last question, do you think with people with ADHD or autism dream like neurotypical people?
I don't know. That's a really good question, and I think we would, I guess, have to ask them and maybe compare and contrast our, dreams between different people. I think we all might dream a little bit differently.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Henry, and someone from 8A called Tana wants to ask you this question. How can I make people who are neurodiversity feel better when I'm in school?
That's a really good question, and I'm glad you guys are all thinking about that. I think being very inclusive, welcoming, accepting. With inclusion, it's not just about accepting, it's about also like making things fair and equal and making sure that everyone has the same access to all the same opportunities and learning opportunities. Specifically in school, I think being very patient and understanding and asking people what they need, asking them about their preferences, asking them what they dislike so that you can approach your interactions with them with that information is really important.
From 7A and 7B, Rashi and Hassan want to know, how do we create a more inclusive environment for neurodiversity people in everyday life?
In everyday life, I think doing things like this, creating a lot of awareness and education around neurodiversity, recognizing that not everyone learns the same and you might need to make accommodations or change the mode of delivery. For example, in school or in class, if you're mainly receiving information auditorily, like out loud, vocally spoken to you, that could be challenging for someone who really learns well visually and needs to see or have more hands-on experience. So I think incorporating a lot of different ways to learn and also including people with neurodiversity in the conversation, making sure that they have some input in how to make the school or the workplace more accessible for all.
A student called Yusuf from 8D would like to know, how do you approach diagnosing and supporting neurodivergent individuals while respecting their difference?
I myself don't diagnose, that is a licensed physician, but once someone receives the diagnosis and if I'm providing services to them, I am working with them and their caregivers to identify what are the most socially relevant goals for them and making sure they're very included in their programming and their treatment. And they're working on skills that truly will enhance their lives, give them opportunity for more social connections, for more reinforcing environments, and ensuring that we're not just teaching skills because that's what other kids can do. It's really just about individualizing their education so that they're learning things that are really going to be valuable for them lifelong and that they're interested in learning about.
Thank you. What is one of the hardest challenges that you have faced when working with people with neurodiversity? This is a question from Alexandra in 8C.
That's a good question. So a lot of my experience has been working with individuals with very severe autism. And some challenges with that are that, they typically have required a lot of supervision and care by caregivers or teachers working with them. Sometimes need to be monitored pretty continuously if they don't have the skills to keep themselves safe. So that can be really challenging to think about their future and as they grow to be adults and thinking about what kind of services and supports are going to be available for the rest of their lives to make sure that they are continuing to live happily, joyfully, have meaningful connections, and continue to be safe.
Thank you. How do I make someone with neurodiversity happy or excited about schoolwork? Essa from 9D would like to know.
I think incorporating as much preference and choice as you can to make your schoolwork fun and enjoyable, looking at different learning styles, looking at different sensory needs. I think sometimes people who are neurodiverse may have different sensory challenges with, very loud environments can be overstimulating. Certain, loud environments, certain tactile things can be overstimulating. So trying to keep that in mind in the educational environment, that we're not overloading with too much noise or disruption. Limiting distractions during learning can make it much easier to learn. And also sitting sitting still for long periods of time can be challenging for anyone, so incorporating more movement and allowing more breaks during the schoolwork can be helpful.
Thank you very much for Dr. Amanda to join us. It is a great pleasure to have her here and know about all of the different neurodiversity knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.